You're scrolling through some random retirement calculator at midnight, half out of curiosity, half out of anxiety. You punch in a few numbers, drag the little slider until it hits $1 million, and there's this tiny rush, like, okay, if I ever hit that, I'm done. Millionaire. Game over. In your head, it's beach photos, lazy mornings, maybe a little travel, and absolutely zero emails that start with "per my last message." And then, because the internet loves chaos, you see a headline that says something like, "Why $1 million is not enough to retire," and your stomach just drops. So which is it? Is $1 million the golden ticket, or is it basically just, congratulations, you're middle class with extra steps? My name's Mark, and I spend way too much time thinking about exactly that tension, the space between the fantasy of retirement and the math of retirement, and why the number $1 million has gone from "you're rich" to "it depends" in just a couple of decades. Because here's the shocking truth. Retiring on just $1 million is absolutely possible, and it can also be absolutely terrifying. It has a lot less to do with the number in your account and a lot more to do with where you live, how you spend, how long you live, and how that money is invested and taxed. If you really get that, it can totally change the way you're saving, the way you're planning, and honestly, the way you talk to yourself about money. So let's pull this apart in human language, not Wall Street jargon. The $1 million myth versus the monthly reality. When you hear $1 million, your brain probably still thinks mansion, sports car, never work again. But retirement math doesn't care about vibes. It cares about withdrawal rates. There's this rule of thumb you might have heard of, the 4% rule. Very oversimplified, it says if you withdraw about 4% of your portfolio per year, historically, you probably don't run out of money over a 30-ish year retirement. So with $1 million, 4% is $40,000 per year. That's about $3,333 before taxes. Now, $3,300 a month is not nothing. For some people, in some places, that's solid. But ask yourself, what does $3,300 a month actually buy where you live? Housing, rent or property taxes plus maintenance, groceries, utilities, transportation, health insurance or Medicare gaps, and everything else that makes life feel like life. In a low-cost area with a paid-off house, you might be okay, even comfortable. In a big city with high rent and expensive everything, that's tight. The shocking part for most people is this. A $1 million retirement isn't rich, it's middle class with no paychecks. That doesn't mean it's bad, it just means you can't attach a 1995 idea of millionaire to a 2050 reality. What to do with this? Start thinking in monthly income, not just big round numbers. Instead of asking, can I hit $1 million, ask, how much monthly income do I actually need, and how much does this $1 million safely give me? For a lot of people, that mindset shift is the first big, oh, wow, moment. You're not retiring for 5 years, you're retiring for 30-plus years. One of the scariest parts of modern retirement is not the stock market. It's math mixed with medicine. We're living longer. If you retire at 60 or 65, you're not planning for 5 to 10 chill years and then you're done. You might be planning for 30 to 35 years of bills. Imagine being 65 with $1 million. You're feeling good. Then picture a bad decade in the market early in retirement. Inflation quietly doubling your cost of living over 20 years. A couple of major health events. Now that 4% withdrawal rate might not look so bulletproof. That's why a lot of planners are nudging people closer to 3 to 3.5% if they want maximum safety, especially for longer retirements. On $1 million, 3.5% is $35,000 per year, about $2,900 per month. 3% is $30,000 per year, about $2,500 per month. See how fast that millionaire feeling turns into running a pretty tight budget? Why this matters? If you treat $1 million like a jackpot you get to drain, you can absolutely outrun it. But if you treat it like a machine designed to safely spit out around $2,500 to $3,300 per month for decades, your behavior changes. You respect the withdrawal rate. You build in flex, spending a bit less when markets are rough. You don't freak out every time the portfolio wiggles. Your goal is not how big can I live at 65, it's how long can this money keep me free. Where you live changes everything. Same $1 million, totally different life in New York, San Francisco, or London versus small-town Midwest or South versus Portugal, Thailand, Mexico, or rural Spain. Cost of living is the invisible multiplier or divider on your retirement. Let's do a little thought experiment. Say your $1 million gives you about $3,000 a month to spend after taxes. In a high-cost U.S. city, that might barely cover rent and basics. In a moderate-cost suburb with a paid-off house, that might feel okay. In a lower-cost country, that might feel like you're doing very well. I'm not saying you must move to a foreign country to retire.
But I am saying location is a financial decision, not just a lifestyle decision. I know people who feel broke with $1 million because they're clinging to a high-cost lifestyle. I also know people who feel absolutely free on less than that because they optimized where and how they live. Actionable thought. Don't just plug $1 million into a calculator. Plug in realistic rent or property taxes where you plan to be, realistic healthcare costs, and realistic spending. And ask, does $30K to $40K a year here actually work? If the answer is no, that doesn't mean panic. It means maybe you work a few more years, or move somewhere slightly cheaper, or plan to work part-time in early retirement. Now you're designing an actual life instead of clinging to a magical number. Healthcare, the monster under the bed. We have to talk about this, even though it's not fun. Healthcare in retirement is like the boss fight. Even with Medicare in the U.S., you've got Part B premiums, supplement or advantage plans, drug plans, out-of-pocket costs, and the big one, potential long-term care. You might go years with low costs and then suddenly have a surgery, a diagnosis, or a needed move to assisted living that eats tens of thousands of dollars in a short burst. If your entire retirement plan is, I'll have $1 million and pull 4% forever, without any consideration of healthcare shocks, you're playing on hard mode. What you can actually do: invest in your health now. Boring, but pound for pound, exercise, decent food, and sleep are some of the best investments you'll ever make. Estimate healthcare costs realistically. Build a buffer into your budget. Don't pretend they'll be tiny. And if possible, consider long-term care insurance, or at least a mental plan for what happens if one of you needs expensive care. The goal isn't to predict everything. It's to not be shocked that it costs more than you thought. $1 million pre-tax is not $1 million in your pocket. Another sneaky thing: when you see $1 million in my 401k, that's not the same as $1 million in a checking account. If most of your money is in tax-deferred accounts, like a traditional 401k or IRA, every withdrawal is taxable income. Depending on your tax bracket in retirement, that might mean your $40K withdrawal is really, say, $32K after taxes. Your real spending money is lower than your withdrawal math on paper. On the flip side, having money in Roth accounts or taxable brokerage accounts can give you more flexibility and sometimes lower your overall tax bill. Why this matters? When people say, I want to have $1 million at retirement, that's good. But a smarter version is, I want X in tax-deferred, Y in Roth, and Z in taxable, so I can control my taxes when I start withdrawing. That's a more advanced move, and if you're nowhere near that yet, don't stress. Just file it away under Future Me will care a lot about this. For now, know this: $1 million in a 401k is awesome, but you don't fully own it. The government is a silent partner. So, is $1 million enough or not? Here's the honest answer. For many people, in many places, with thoughtful planning and reasonable expectations, yes, $1 million can absolutely be enough to retire on. For others, especially in high-cost areas with big lifestyles and no flexibility, no, $1 million will feel like a tightrope. The shocking truth isn't $1 million is a scam, it's that the number alone doesn't save you. What really matters is your spending. Can you live well on $30,000 to $40,000 a year? Your flexibility. Can you move, downsize, or adjust if needed? Your planning. Have you accounted for taxes, health care, and living a long time? And your backup options. Are you open to part-time work, side income, or phased retirement? If you're younger and still building, don't let this discourage you. Let it clarify things. Instead of worshiping the million, focus on raising your savings rate, investing consistently, building skills that let you earn more, and designing a life that doesn't require insane amounts of money to feel good. And if you're closer to retirement and realizing, oh, I might not get to $1 million, remember, every extra $100,000 you save is another $3,000 to $4,000 a year of relatively safe income. It all adds up. Partial freedom is still freedom. In the end, $1 million is not a finish line. It's just a tool, a powerful one, but still just a tool. Your real job is to build a life where that tool is enough, not because it's huge, but because you aligned your expectations, your spending, and your choices with reality. So maybe after this, instead of asking, will $1 million be enough, open a notebook or a spreadsheet and ask, what does my ideal day in retirement actually cost? How can I start moving my life in that direction now? And what can I do this year to get even slightly closer to the version of me that has options? That version of you might or might not have $1 million, but they'll definitely have something even more important. They won't be guessing.